We have chosen to introduce the personal pronouns for third graders. To make it more concrete for the pupils, we will use a car as a theme through the whole lesson. We have divided the lesson in 3 parts. First, we are going to do an introduction where we, with help of sentences on the whiteboard, will explain the different personal pronouns. In the second part of the lesson, we want the pupils to interact orally with each other and try to build up an understanding from the introduction part. The last part of the lesson is more concrete, where the pupils are supposed to read and write. Introduction. When the pupils come to the lesson, there will already be sentences written on the whiteboard. These sentences are supposed to help the pupils to understand that pronouns can be used instead of nouns and are built up in the same way. The teacher will go through the basic pronouns such as I, you, he, she, it, we and they. But during the lesson the focus will be on I, he, she and it. In this part we just want the pupils to get an understanding in what we're going to work with this lesson.
The first activity is a group activity, where the pupils and the teacher sits together in a circle, either on the chair or on the floor. In the middle of the circle, there is going to be 4 cars with different colors. The colors are going to be green, yellow, blue, and red. The teacher starts by choosing one car, picking it up and saying, I have a car, and it's, for example, a red car. After that, the pupils will do the same thing one by one until everyone has done the exercise. As it says in the book Early Language Learning, we believe that imitating the teacher is a very good method for the pupils to learn better. After this, we continue with another exercise that is built in the same way, but now we're going to say, I have a car, and then they will have to look at the person sitting to their right. Is it a boy or a girl? Depending on this, they will have to say, she or he has a car, and handing over the car at the same time. So the whole sentence will be, I have a car, or she or he has a car. And this exercise will start as the one before, with the teacher being the one that starts, and then the students will follow. The material for these exercises are going to be cars, pictures of colors, plus a boy and a girl.
This evaluation exercise is based on a stencil with the same sentences used in our introduction, but on the stencil the pronoun is missing in the sentence. So the goal of the task is for the pupils to guess the correct pronoun. The pupils will be divided into pairs so they can help each other. You can see the stencil here on the picture.
Anticepted problems. A general problem could be that the pupils won't understand the signification of personal pronouns, and this can make us be more selective in what and how we continue the lesson. For an example, we could use one of the pronoun instead of dealing with many different pronouns. By using only the I in I have a car would make it easier to follow and to understand. We also think that the stencil may be too hard to write by themselves. If that happens, we will go through the stencil together, since we didn't add any focus on the grammatical parts of this first lesson. In this case, they would have to read sentences out loud and try to guess the right answer together with the teacher. Learning outcomes. When we want them to get a basic understanding of what a personal pronoun is and how to use them. In this particular lesson, we want them to be able to say, I have a car, it is red, and to understand that we can change I to he, she, has. Conclusion. Grammar is something that many pupils consider hard and difficult, and it can create some fear as well. We have chosen to leave out the grammatical feeling by not using complicated words as the word pronouns. We want them to learn in a more natural and fun way, not focusing on spelling and knowing all the words. We have chosen to write down the difficult words on the board with pictures that explains them instead of translating them into the Swedish words. We chose to do this that way because we want them to use their English language as much as they can and not to rely on the Swedish language. I'm here referring to Kivni and Lundberg 2007, page 34, in Early Language Learning and Teaching. We also wanted to use a theme throughout the lesson using cars, in this case to make it simple and concrete. To make the stencil a little easier, we took the same sentences that we used in the introduction part, except for the personal pronouns, for example, they, we, and you. The stencil is used as an evaluation to be able to see how much they have learned from this lesson.